Hello, this is Arielle from Inconspicuous Bear, and I'll be narrating the heroic version of the Blackhand encounter in Blackrock Foundry from a Guardian point of view. Blackhand is a three-phase encounter that features a lot of, not so much precise, but just a lot of constant tank movement, so it's a really good place to showcase how terrible mob movement in general, and tank movement has become. So, hope you enjoy. It'll be very interesting because positioning Blackhand is important, but also like the biggest pain in the ass known to humankind. In the first phase, there are only a couple of things you need to be worried about. The first is slag bombs, or R slag bombs, I guess. He'll drop 3 bombs around himself every so often, and you need to make sure that you're moving him out of them as quickly as you can because they have a delayed timer, and once they arm, if someone steps on them, they explode, blah, blah, blah. So if you get slagged, it's really bad. And if melee gets slagged, they're probably going to die from demolition. So the easiest way to do is just to, once you see the bombs on the ground, just move backwards. It's pretty easy. It takes just a few seconds to do it, so just do it. There's no reason not to. I know in Mythic, everything gets a lot different, but in Heroic, just make sure you're constantly moving him around the inner circle, which is where the rest of the raid will be for demolitions, and whenever slag bombs come out, just move away from them. The second thing you need to be worried about in Phase 1 is something called Shattering Smash. Basically, he'll hit you for a bunch of physical damage and knock you away. This isn't really that big of a deal. Just use SI for it. Who cares? The thing that can be kind of painful is when he knocks you back into the molten slag, which is the fire that's creeping in from the edges of the room. Because if you are taking the third smash, there's going to be a lot of fire to run through, and it stacks up really fast. So this is a really good time to use Scenario Mord, and just make sure that you're running out as soon as humanly possible. There are some shenanigans where you can be gripped out of midair or some nonsense. It's not worth it. Don't even bother. Just make sure you're running out of the fire as soon as you can and back to the boss. A couple other quick notes about Phase 1. It's possible that he'll drop slag bombs and then do a smash right after that, but smash has a cast time, so you need to make sure that you're moving out of the bombs while the smash is happening. Otherwise, he'll just be sitting there, the bombs will arm, melee will potentially pop one, and that can even happen prior to the smash going off, which means you basically die. So make sure that you're always moving away from bombs, even if smash is happening. And the second thing is don't shift your positioning left or right during smash, because you could potentially kill some melee, because it's basically a circle around you, and if melee gets caught in it, they die. So make sure that you are constantly in the same, facing the same direction, and not moving yourself side to side, but also moving out of bombs as soon as they happen. Otherwise, try and keep the boss as still as possible, because impaling throws are annoying for range, especially if the boss decides to change his angle at which he's throwing them partway through the cast. So once your raid properly executes Phase 1 without dying, you'll enter Phase 2. From a tank perspective, there's 2 big things you have to worry about. First is positioning the smash correctly, such that everyone who needs to go up to the stands to kill the gunners actually gets up to the stands to kill the gunners. Now, the positioning for smash is you basically face the boss towards the section of the stands they're going up to, and it's up to everyone else to stand at the correct angle relative to you, such that they get up to the stands. There's nothing you can really do to get people up there. They have to actually, other than standing still, so that nothing, goes completely haywire. Everyone else just has to learn where to stand relative to you. The second part is making sure that you're kiting Blackhand correctly throughout the entirety of Phase 2 relative to the demolition, or the demolisher. What we would do is basically meet up, or after the smash, meet up with the new demolisher, and then just go around in a circle with Blackhand in front of the demolisher the entire time. This means that all the bombs that Blackhand drops will be caught by the demolisher. The demolisher takes a ton of damage, the demolisher dies. Now, whether you do it this way, or whether you actually soak all 3 impales with the demolisher, kind of up to you. One thing to note is that it's with Blackhand so close to the demolisher, it makes it super easy for ranged to basically have the impales go into the demolisher. So once you get that sweet spot with your kiter, you probably going to be a hunter, because the rest of the classes kind of suck at it. It's going to be really easy to make sure that range don't have to move too much in order to get the impales into the demolisher. And if you do the strat where the tank on the bottom soaks a set of impales, I actually soak 2 for most of our kills, because we just get 3 sets of impales before we get to Phase 3. don't particularly worry about it. I SI the impact, although the impact doesn't really do any damage. It's going to be the constant damage from the double stack of Impale plus just the melee swings from the boss. Now, it's super, super, super important that you do not get slagged if you're soaking Impale. If you're taking the boss and soaking Impale, and you get slagged, you're dead. Like, you will probably die unless someone gets an external on you super fast. So, just make very, 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 very sure you're not tripping on a bomb or running near a bomb when someone else is potentially going to stand in them. It's very important that that happens. So, TLDR, communicate with your kiters to make sure that Blackhand is going in the right place. If you're soaking Impales, cool down the initial hit, and then just make sure that you're keeping up your damage reduction as much as possible for the duration of the Impale, and stay away from bombs. This brings us to Phase 3, where there are 2 things you have to worry about. Well, 3 technically. The first is something called attached slag bombs. He'll basically throw bombs onto 3 individual people at a time, and one of them will be the person who currently has threat on Blackhand. So you'll basically, that's the taunt swap point, is you'll do the attach slag bombs, you'll swap, drop your bomb off, and then after the massive shattering smash, which is the smash that the whole raid that's not currently debuffed has to stoke, because if you do it while you're debuffed you're going to die, you will then swap back after that and move to another corner of the room. So the reason you have to move so much is for Slag Eruption, which causes all of his massive shattering smashes and all of his slag bomb craters to basically do AoE damage around them. So you need to make sure you're out of that, and it's just a matter of learning how far that is. It's not as far as you think, so don't it's something similar to Epicenter. You need to make sure that you run far enough so that you and the raid are not standing in it, but not so far that you run out of room. So try and overlap them as much as humanly possible. Other than that, Impaling Throw now will also hit everyone in a line, so just make sure you're not standing between Blackhand and his target, or else you're probably going to die. Moving on to talents, your talent choices for this fight are going to be extremely generic. Snare and Ward, Feline Swiftness, Soul of the Forest, Dream Snargus, and Pulverize. There's no particular reason to take any other talent in any of the trees at all. You just take those talents, and that's about it. I would recommend, you can go either way on Glyphing SI. If you're only going to take 2 demolitions in Phase 1, or if you personally are only soaking 1 smash in Phase 1, you'll probably be fine with unglyphing SI. Otherwise, I'd probably go with glyphing it. Other than that, definitely glyph Stampeding Roar, because it's really useful for phases 2 and 3 even, just in case someone can't get to the Demolisher in time. Other than that, nothing particularly specific. Berserk I like to use after, because I soak the first smash in Phase 1, so I like to use it after the first smash, because otherwise I don't get enough time to get Zerg off, basically. Barkskin you want to use very liberally on this fight. Use it pretty much as often as you can. Same with Snare and Ward, for obvious reasons. Free healing is free. Nothing else really in terms of usage. If you have an unused trinket, try and save that for when you're soaking Impales, just to help with the damage reduction. Otherwise, it's really just a lot of movement, and most of the failures will come from the raid and not from you. So, just bear that in mind, and you'll be fine with killing it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and good luck in Blackrock Foundry.
Destroy them. Going orange. Get out here and fight. 2, 1. Beware. Soldiers, open fire. You hide like children!
Attack for smash now.
2,
Siege
1.
machines! Tear this place apart!
Going moon. Which is missing a lot of mines, but
Doesn't matter. Constant direction is what matters.
for smash.
Holy soak.
Beware. Siege machine, tear this place apart.
Going orange to yellow.
You hide like children. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beware. Coward.
Stack for smash.
3, 2, 1.
You should have done. 5,
Can come right back down.
2, 1. Beware. Tear this place apart.
Going right in. Oh, nope.
You will all
Revival.
burn. 5,
Fox out. 2. Under.
Get render for sure.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
is your molten grave. Beware.
American, can you jump the barrier when we group up?
Fox out.
On this next smash, Vargas, use your rally.
5, 4,
Use it now.
3, 2, 1.
Runs out.
Sorry.
Beware. The furnace will consume you.
You guys both have 2 stacks, so watch yourselves.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Destruction is your molten grave.
So I'm getting impaled right now.
Watch the impales. Give it a stun on you.
You have no